Summer Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, heavyweight news, right? Heavyweight news. Matter of fact, some of the top heavyweights. You got Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, all that stuff going on. Now, AJ, there's an article yesterday, matter of fact, I just didn't do nothing about it. Article said, you know what? Anthony Joshua was right. Proves him right that he didn't take the $50 million offer from Deontay Wilder at that time, right? And I was like, yeah, well, okay, yeah, probably, because at the end of the day, now he's going to probably get this fight with Tyson Fury for a whole lot of money, right? They should be making double that. So that seems like a good business move to me. You just didn't really know it at the time. But now you can go back and say, and they say because at the end of the day, look what happened with Wilder and Fury. Now Fury has materialized, and now they have this big domestic dust-up, and it's a lot of money and stuff like that. But while doing so, truths come out. Like 2 weeks ago, the World Boxing News said, hey, matter of fact, because they're upset about the WBA trying to get in the way of this undisputed match between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and the WBO, was at the time getting in the way of it. We see now that Alexander Usyk is going to probably fight Joe Joyce, but at the time it's like WBO in the way and this WBA with this regular champion getting in the way, so they was like upset. Saying that Joshua could easily say, hey, hold up now, undisputed trumps that, back off, right? But they had to say what happened. They said, well, everything strikes twice. Lightning strikes twice. He said because back then, hey, Povetkin came at the last minute. It was only 48 hours and the stuff was going to get signed, the contract between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Povetkin came in at the last minute. I remember, matter of fact, the WBC, and they gave him a short time, like with 48 hours, they have to sign a contract with Povetkin, right? All of a sudden. Well, he said, hey, something's weird about that because it's an undisputed fight. Nobody fought for it, and the World Boxing News admitted, or at least said, hey, Anthony Joshua should have said then, no, forget Povetkin. First of all, he's less worthy. That's me talking. He was less worthy than Alexander Usyk, but forget him. I got an undisputed fight, a big, big, big fight with Deontay Wilder, and they didn't do that, right? And that was right before Deontay Wilder wasn't about the $50 million. It was when Deontay Wilder was going to only get about $15 million flat fee and going to England. So they didn't do that. Now you hear him. In this article, I'll put in the description box if I find it. It's from yesterday, but it was saying Anthony Joshua at the time was given an interview and said, hey, listen, you should take this money that we offered him and or this, give me $50 million, right? And I'll take that in a heartbeat. And he said, I swear, right? I'll take $50 million. Didn't think Deontay Wilder was going to be able to generate that kind of money. Because let's make sure this is clear, Deontay Wilder at the time, remember Eddie Hearn was all in America asking people in the middle of New York if they knew who Deontay Wilder was, finding people that didn't know who he was and stuff, forgetting how America is. But he wasn't, he hadn't made those kind of purses yet, so he ain't go $50 million. Sounded outlandish for Joshua to say that. Turned out that Deontay Wilder and Shelley Finkel and his team mobilized Showtime and everybody, sponsored, and everybody was in place where they were able to offer Anthony Joshua $50 million, and it wasn't flat fee. He was going to get some more money on the back end. As soon as the event earned $100 million, then they start making 50-50 and continue making money, right? That was the offer, right? And matter of fact, by the way, a lot of people who don't understand stuff like that, think about those people who started making calls from Deontay Wilder's side after Anthony Joshua said he would take $50 million. I swear, I forgot the song from them boys. I forgot their name was. I would have said it. But anyway, I swear. Remember them? He swear. So that means people started making calls, right? And a whole lot. What about all those people that had to make calls? Hey, we got the big fight. He said he's going to take it. Anthony Joshua. So let's do this Showtime. Let's do this sponsors and all that stuff. Getting all them people together to find out after he gets the deal that Anthony Joshua just reneged on it and said, no, man, I ain't selling my soul to do that. I'm going to fight. I want to fight England. They are they supposed to get this kind of fight, right? So those are some things that are very glaring, and we were talking about it then. But when it comes out, because this is not an article, these are some people in the article that are actually pro Anthony Joshua or pro Fury, but definitely not pro Wilder. But these are the kind of the facts, and in order to make your point that you're making right now, you're explaining and exposing what had happened then. 50 million was huge at the time, especially if there wasn't no flat fee for them for the first fight between Deontay Wilder and them, right? So at the end of the day, it's funny, you know, when you do Deontay Wilder videos, ain't nobody gonna really like it. But at the end of the day, anybody that don't like Deontay Wilder that's not from England somewhere, right, is probably a Trump supporter. I doubt very seriously if you can hate Deontay Wilder and then hate Trump. If so, really, you're alright. Then you alright. If you don't, you hate Deontay Wilder and you hate Trump too. You hate both of them. Then you're alright. But I doubt very seriously. You're probably, you know, that other species, right? That human being that I take issue for calling me the same species as people that like this. You know, it's got to be a DNA issue. A chromosome is different. Something's going on. Not the same species. Because, see, a human being, right? Or let them have human being. What we're going to be is human empathoids, right? We human empathoids, right? That means, you know, a person without empathy, without a conscience, right? You don't have that DNA. You don't have that DNA. You can't watch hundreds of people being killed, right? You can't watch 100 of animals being killed, right? Some people can, as long as that person looks that way, a certain way that they don't like. They can watch them be killed, watch them be in situations over and over where they can't defend themselves, and then somebody beating up all on them till they die, or beating up all on them when they first, put your hand behind your back first at gunpoint, and then they can do that. And then you can happen over and over. There will not be any empathy for that, right? That's not your species if you have a conscience, right? And you have empathy for other creatures. That's a different species, and I take issue to be the same species. But so they can have the human being moniker. That's what they are. Then we human empathoids, right? I can roll with that because that can't happen. I don't care how somebody look. If I keep seeing people being done injustice, it doesn't matter. Oh well, it doesn't matter. There's that kind. If it's a human empathoid, I'm down with them. Matter of fact, even human beings. I don't like human beings, but they're okay. Even them. You know, don't like to be mistreated, right? That's the thing. So this Deontay Wilder thing, he has extraordinary amount of hate for someone who hasn't been doped, right? You know, hasn't been doing any crimes like the people that he's surrounded by, right? Somebody who's just a novice, actually just learning the sport. So, you know, the hate for him is extraordinary. And you want to ask yourself, well, why is that? And like we're naive. We know what time it is. Right? This is a good point. This is one of the reasons why I roll with Deontay Wilder, because I know when it comes to the Anthony Joshua, you know, negotiation back then, you obviously knew who wanted to fight. And then you can get some stuff. Hey, Anthony Joshua offered him, you know, some money back when he was about to fight Tyson Fury, I think the second time. Or it could have been the first time. After all of this happened, right? The Povetkin situation that we just explained happened. Then you mobilize all your people in the name of Anthony Joshua. Like, we got it, man. He said he's going to do it. We're going to go do all the people. And all those people had to call back and tell them people it's not on. At that point, you don't give a damn what he offers. And that's what really happened. So, check that out. That's important. Read the article. I'm going to try to find it, put it in there so you can read the article so you don't have to be mad at me, but you can be anyway. If you don't like Deontay Wilder, then I don't give a damn anyway, to be honest with you. Dome with Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.